Hi, welcome to Flexia Talks. I'm Kelly. I'm the head of content here at Flexia, and I'm here with one of our instructors, Jada Rae. Jada, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We just finished wrapping our film event for February, and we're so excited. We had to get Jada Rae in here on the podcast so that we could interview her, ask her some burning questions. So stick around. It's going to be a great conversation. All right, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast, season 2. We're so excited that you're here. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. 3 days of filming wasn't easy, but we got through it. And to be honest, it was the kickstart that I needed to start 2024. I've had a very busy, chaotic start, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how did you first find Pilates?
Good question. So I was an athlete for most of my life. And so I first found Pilates because I had a knee injury. I tore my meniscus as a high jumper. And so one of the coaches kind of was like, oh, you should look into doing this. So I did a couple sessions here and there, but it wasn't a commitment. There was no commitment involved.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first time that I really started to flirt with Pilates a little bit. And then my boyfriend and his business partner decided to venture into Pilates as a business. And then that's when I really got exposed into it and really loved it, listening to the teachers teach classes, seeing how everyone felt after classes. And then I was like, I want to do this. So yeah.
That's awesome. Did you do Pilates throughout your athletic career or just that one time when you had been injured?
Yeah, I have commitment issues. So it was like a 1 time, 2 times. And then once my knee was good, I never looked back, to be honest.
Awesome. So you just talked about your boyfriend starting Pilates as a business. So is that why you decided to become an instructor? Was it the effect that you saw on the people in the studio, or was it at first just like, oh, I'm going to give this a try and then see how it goes?
Yeah, it was more so just to be a really well-rounded, supportive role for the business. I'm more so on the sales and administrative side and operations. But when you're running a Pilates studio that's open 7 days a week, you need instructors. So it was more so as a fill-in bench warmer. And fast forward a few years, and then it became my full-time thing. So it was really a surprise, not planned at all.
That's amazing. But you fell in love with Pilates, and
yes,
you were
sure.
like, okay, there's something to this.
Yes, for sure.
So who has the biggest influence on how you teach and why?
That is a good question. I would say probably my Pilates mentors, because I loved taking their classes, how I felt after, how they made me feel, and just watching other people taking their class. So that would be Patty and Kim, who are from the East Coast. And then I think myself, which is a little selfish, but I think about how I would like to feel and how I would like to be spoken to in a class and try to emulate that when I'm teaching.
Yeah. Mentors are really important, especially when we're getting our training. They really help give us that view, that peek into how this is put into practice in the real world. Because school is one way, and then when you're practicing it in class with people, it can be slightly different.
Agreed. And it's really great because they have been teaching, and they still teach over 30 years, 20 years.
Wow.
So they have lots of different experience, which has been nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. So what are you really passionate about in your teaching?
Good question. So I originally wanted to become a physical therapist.
Awesome.
So that's also why Pilates kind of integrated itself into my...
Sometimes they hang out together.
Yeah, exactly. So I think corrective exercise, I'm just really passionate about in general. And a lot of the times in my teaching, I'll reference some anatomical terms here and there. So one of my kind of projects for myself in each and every class is to at least have someone learn something new about their body or themselves and how they move. So I would say definitely that. And then a big thing is just having fun. Pilates is really hard. So if you're just stuck in the struggle of Pilates, then you're not motivated to come back. So my goal is always to just have fun, make it relatable to everyone and anyone, whoever's taking class, And that's really what influences my teaching.
Well, that's completely obvious when you take a class with Jada Rae on our platform, because all of her classes are so fun, from the cues to the exercises to the choreography. Everything is, when you show up, you know you're going to feel really good and you're going to have a good time.
Thank
so
you.
I totally resonate with it. It's the truth. She really means it. It's really fun. It's a great time. So what is your current teaching routine like, and what kinds of clients do you work with?
Yeah. Well, my life is all over the place right
tell
now.
Tell us about it.
I right now I'm bouncing between 2 continents.
Yeah.
So it really depends where I am and what day of the week it looks like. I mean, I've done anything from teaching 20 classes in the span of 2 days to like not really teaching, maybe just one class here and there. And I also am a master Pilates instructor for Club Pilates. So sometimes I might have a gap in teaching clients and classes, but then I have the whole weekend, 6 hours a day, just educating people who want to become Pilates instructors. So it really just depends. I think my ideal week, not that you asked, would probably be like maybe 2 or 3 classes. And taking classes, I think, is also really important. But my clients, they range. I have athletes, a little bit more of the elderly, young bodies, everybody really.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you teach any other type of fitness modalities?
Not currently, but I have in the past.
Which ones were those?
AKT, I've done a little teaching for. And AKT is the Anna Kaiser technique. It's like a dance-based strength, cardio, fitness modality, everything in one.
Okay.
So it's a lot of dance, which I am not a dancer, so that was fun learning that. And high energy, and also like little athletes conditioning and things like that.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds cool. I'm gonna have to look that up. Do you have a story about teaching hold on, I'm gonna go back and do that. Do you have a story about teaching one of your inspirational clients that really touched you, or felt like, oh, this is why I'm doing this? Do you have a story that you can think of that really resonates with that experience?
I think my clients remind me why I'm doing it regularly, which is really nice. And if you've ever taken a class with me in person, like I'm constantly talking to my clients and asking for feedback, even when it is hard. So I know it's a lot. Sorry to you guys, but I think one that really caught me by surprise is like several months after teaching an individual, they came back and told me like I was the reason why they quit their job, which at first I was like,
what?
I was like, oh no, like, is everything okay? And she really thanked me for it because she had been in a really hostile work environment for so many years, kind of just taking the crappy end of the stick for a long time. And she felt like within my classes and just within the practice as well, there's a lot of confidence building in Pilates. Like even if you break it down with just posture correction and opening up the chest and lengthening the body, like you do kind of carry yourself a little bit differently.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I thought that was super cool. Not at first, I was very scared. But after she was like, thank you, like now I'm going to go find something that I like to do. Wow. I'm going to take a second for myself before, like, so that was really, really exciting. And also surprising.
Yeah.
But it did touch me in a different way because you don't think about those kinds of things when you're teaching all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's life. That was life-changing for her. That's a really, really cool experience.
Yeah.
But when you said she quit her job, it was like,
I was like, are you okay? Are you still coming back? What does that mean? Yeah.
Oh gosh. So what is your daily or weekly movement routine like? We're kind of, going into what us teachers do.
Yes.
Or don't do.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Both parts for sure. Typically I'm a very like regimented schedule person when it comes to wellness.
Okay.
Haven't been the last, 4 weeks to 8 weeks, but that's okay. We're going to fix that again. But typically I like to strength train since my background was athletics and sports for a long time. I love to lift weights in the gym. So that's something that I tend to do at least 3 to 5 times a week, depending on work schedule and life in general. And then I like to make time for Pilates at least 2 to 3 times a week within that, like for me to actually take classes. Then on top of that, there's teaching, so on and so forth. When I'm really in the zone, I sometimes am doing 2 a day workouts, but that's because they're a little bit smaller. So I like to break up my day either in the morning with something to wake me up, and then afternoon is like my real workout, fully undivided attention. And then sometimes, at least when I was in the office, we would the team would go together and take another class after work or something like that. Yeah. But that's when I feel my best. When I'm not in my routine, it's crazy.
Do you like to work? Are you a morning workout person, afternoon, or evening? When do you feel like you get the best movement session?
If I look back at the last 4 years of my life, I've done all three, for a consistent period of time. I think I prefer the afternoon, which other people might not, just because I'm showing up wherever I am sweaty after. It is what it is. But in an ideal world, I think I aspire to be a morning workout person, but
I wish I could do it.
I'm not there yet.
I wish I could work out in the morning. I am not able to do a morning workout. I'm like 2 p.m.
What about a yoga or Pilates? Can you do something like that?
No, I have to just have caffeine in the morning. Okay, that is my my mornings move so incredibly slow for me, in order to wake up. But I'm sure I could try it. I don't think I'd like it very much. I like to move in the evening or in the afternoon.
Yeah. I find now that a lot of times I'll teach and then I'll go to work. So by the time the evening comes, I'm
you're done.
Yeah, I'm done for the day. Just want to be a couch potato, which is why the morning works better, but not gym or anything in the morning. Yeah. It's either a walk or run or yoga or something like that.
Yeah, I find the lunchtime workout is a little bit easier for me to do. I started doing slower movement in the evening. So it's not that.
A wind down.
Yeah.
Those are good too. I like that.
Yeah, so I like doing that stuff, but I'm always curious what works for people and when they decide to work out. So there's, for people who are struggling to find the motivation to work out during the day, do you have any tips?
Yeah.
Tell me all the tips.
No. You got this, Kelly.
I just need a little Jada Rae walking around.
No. I don't think, listen, I think motivation sometimes is a myth. I'm really big on discipline. Mm-hmm. So I think the easiest thing to do is, if you don't have time, if you're really busy, I can say this specifically about running because I trained for a half marathon. I hate running. So what I would do is I got my calendar out and every day wrote down what I needed. And then the night before, the day before, a couple minutes before, I took out the outfit down to the shoes and everything. So there was literally no excuse. And then I could time it that I need to be up by this certain amount of time, so that I could get my workout in. And honestly, I think no one ever has time for fitness. You have to make the effort and make time for it. If it's valuable to you and it's a goal of yours, you have to put energy towards it. But the great thing now is we have such great things like Flexia, which you could do literally in the comfort of your own home. I know for me, the last 2 weeks have been so crazy and I haven't been able to go out and do everything. And I just literally pulled my Flexia down in front of my TV and took classes and felt great. It made such a difference. So
whose class did you take? You were telling me you took someone's class right before
I took quite a few. I took Kelsey, I took CJ, I've taken Annie's class recently, and Michelle. That's all. Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yourself? You didn't take your own class?
No. You know what's funny? I don't think I would like myself as an instructor because I'm not taking the class. I'm critiquing the class. So I don't take
it's
myself
when you hear your voice on the voicemail.
Yes, I hate it. Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, and we have such a great range of classes on the platform too.
Exactly. The snacks and things, like where if you only have 10 minutes, you can still get some movement in.
Did you use the dashboard? Did you like pick a class from like the recommended classes, or did you go digging in the filters?
I have done that because since I've been on the plane a lot, I needed like a flow, not like a strength or a one focus area.
Mm-hmm.
So I did use that, and that class was really exactly what I needed, which was nice. So I was like,
yay, cool. That's amazing. So we did talk about some injuries that you had. How do you feel like you overcome injuries if you run into them now? Do you still work around them? How do you help keep your body running?
Yeah. No, I think Pilates has helped me understand that you shouldn't always push through pain, because I'm pretty competitive by nature. So if I have something that's annoying me, like I'm just going to work through it. But I think Pilates allows you to work through things differently. So you can, choose to lengthen the muscle. You can choose to build strength around the supporting areas of the muscle. So, I mean, I barely ever have pain in my knees, like from my injury, and things go away pretty quickly because of things like Pilates, which are incorporated all the time. It's so restorative, and I always say it's literally physical therapy for your body, with a little bit more jazz.
A little bit more spice.
Exactly. So I think it's helped me just continue moving, which is great.
Yeah. Well, I always love when you come to teach classes with us, because I feel like every time we hang out or go out, like we always talk about like our lives and what we like to do. So I would love to share with people who are listening, what do you really love doing outside of Pilates?
Yeah, eating. That's
honest. We do a lot of really good eating when Jada Rae comes. So Jada Rae is vegan, yes. And so I am not a vegan, and I get the opportunity to try a lot of really amazing
which I
local
appreciate
food.
You being willing, because most people are like, ugh, like, so it's nice.
Yeah. So eating, what else?
Yes. Eating, cooking, which I know it sounds like the same thing, but they're not.
No, I love to eat. I do not like to cook.
It's only when I'm in the mood, because when I'm not in the mood, then it's really not a good situation. Yeah. But I like to cook. I love music and travel. Those are really fun and important, and just being like outside in the sun, and doing life outside and outdoors.
You did some big traveling over the holidays, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I did 3 continents in 1 month, which I don't necessarily recommend. But we started a new business venture personally, so that is taking place in the UK. So I spent some time there, which I'm actually from the UK. I was born there, so I got to see a lot of my extended family, which was really fun. And prior to this opening in the UK, I had already planned to go to Ghana for Christmas, which is also where I'm from. So I got to visit my granddad, who's getting old, so it's nice to see him, and enjoy him while he's still around. And it was my boyfriend's first time going to Ghana and visiting some extended family, so that was fun. That's playing awesome. Like tour guide and all that for a little while, and he learned some of my native language, which was fun and interesting to hear him repeat. And then my family is based in Jersey, so then I also spent time in Jersey, in California, where I also call home. So it was fun going between different climates, visiting new countries. We stopped in Morocco as well. So it was really fun. I love traveling. So it's been nice to be able to do that again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then to wrap it up, tell us about what you love about teaching for Flexia.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I love. First of all, I think the Flexia Reformer is really amazing. The amount of customization, like instructors are always asking me like, well, what do you really think? And I'm like, no, really, I'm not lying. There's so many different ways to tailor the Reformer to the body in front of you, which is not really common. And I don't think it really was the mindset back then when like the original reformers were made. So it's nice to have those options. I think it was really well thought out and designed, which I love. And then also like working alongside, Michelle, Annie, Kelsey, everybody on the platform is also really great. They've done lots of great work. So that's always inspiring. And just teaching classes. I love to teach. Time doesn't exist when I'm teaching. So it's always fun. And then after when the class is done, I'm like, oh, I feel it. But yes, just teaching in general and being able to help other people move, even when they don't have time or they can't make it out to a studio, and do it right in the comfort of their home.
Well, we absolutely love having you on our platform. Our community is so inspired by your classes and love to work out with you, and it's so much fun. And I love working with you, and it's always so fun because in the green room you'll hear like Jada Rae's percussion gun like going off in between all of her classes to make sure she's warmed up and stretched out for the next one. So we really enjoy that. So I have some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. So to end this podcast, we're going to go through these as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Mermaid or lunge stretch?
Lunges.
Okay. Why?
I always have tension in my hips, so that's the best one for me.
Yes. Start a session lying down. Okay, if you've ever taken Jada Rae's class, you're going to know the answer to this. Start a session lying down or standing up?
This one's easy, standing.
Yes, absolutely. Heels together on your toes, roll down. We're doing that every time. Jump board or no jump board?
Ooh, I feel like they're 2 different categories. I would say no jump board, I guess.
Okay. That's fine. Magic circle or inflatable ball?
Ball, for sure.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining myself and Jada Rae today on our podcast. We're so happy to have you here, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.